Come along for a hike through classic Ozark beauty. We'll see lots of little views and a few good big ones as I do the Shores Lake Loop Trail. Hello and welcome to the Oklahoma Hiker YouTube channel. Today I'm in western Arkansas getting ready to do the Shores Lake Loop Trail. Now, this is a trail that I actually tried a couple of weeks ago but had a little disaster on. It started raining and I had not packed my stove in the best fashion. I packed it right next to the rain fly in the very top flap because I had nearly forgotten it before I left the house, so it was kind of like an afterthought to throw it in. I was glad I did, but when I pulled the rain fly out, as soon as the raindrops started falling, the stove fell out. Now, fell out at mile 2, and I actually didn't notice it until mile 5. So, being one that doesn't like to leave anything on the trail, I just turned around and picked it up and ended up getting a hotel room that night. So, I'm hoping that the second try is a little bit more, complete and a little less ridden with disaster. So I will take you along. We're going to see it, and I'm really ready to show it to you. Come along. Well, at about 1.5 miles in, we have a beautiful water feature here. I have to say, if I had a little more time, probably go for a little bit of a dip. Even a cool rock to sit on over here. Should you decide not to get wet, but just watch. Let's see if we can get out here. It is beautiful water. Just spectacular. Well, at almost 3 miles, I have come across this beautiful little cascade here. Tiny waterfall, you might call it. Normally this is going quite well, but of course I'm here at the end of August and it is super dry. So this is what we get, and I'm happy to see it. Well, I enjoyed a little swim. I filled up on some water and I got a snack. So it was a very nice little cool down there. Glad I got in the water before I saw that snake though. Anyway, I am going to now go up and up and up and up until I reach camp. Should be, depending on where I stay, maybe 3, maybe 4 miles to camp. So I better get going. The climb has certainly been rigorous since the waterfall. I have not done much filming, but it's kind of leveled off just as it started to turn east, a little bit more than it had been, so I'm pleased for that. Also, behind me, we have some contour showing up, but of course with the leaves on, it's a little tough to see. I have come across a campsite. Nothing massively exciting to look at, but certainly a nice flat space. Got plenty of room for several tents and a fire ring over here. I, though, am going to keep on moving up the mountain. back at the sign, I intersected with the Ozark Highlands Trail. This is actually my first time to be on it. And I have to say, it's super overgrown. Of course, this is August, so it's had the whole season to kind of do its thing. But I have no false ideas that I'm not going to be covered in some poison ivy. Hey, guess what? I made it to camp. So excited. Nothing is set up yet. I don't have the energy to set up anything. You know, I've been a little under the weather for like the last week and a half, and this was not a great idea probably. But I really was getting kind of stir crazy, so came out anyway. But I'm definitely feeling it. I only went like 5.8 miles today, and I'm just exhausted. Though the last couple of miles were fairly rigorously up. Anyway, I actually have a YouTube video premiere here in like 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and wait to put the tent up until that's over, because I want to watch it with everybody. But after that, I'm going to go ahead and get the tent up, have some dinner, and I will show you some peaks of that process as they happen. All right, well, it's been now a few minutes, and the premiere is over, so it is time to show you the tent, which I got up, and my little chair. I've got everything spread out here, and of course I'm going to put it away shortly. And I'm making dinner. Tonight for dinner, what do we have? Let's see. You know it's going to have Spam, but we have this delicious fish ski. I don't know, fish sky. What is that? Mac and cheese, cheddar, hatch green chilies, and garlic. And you know I'm putting in Spam. So this is already boiling. Dang. So it's time for me to cook. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of, what is this? The Shores Lake Loop trail. Last night was nice. I had my hatch green chili mac and cheese with Spam. Oh, so good. And let's see. I ate like a large portion of a bag of candy corn last night, which I should have saved for fuel today, but I wanted dessert. So this morning I've gotten as far as coffee and, of course, tearing everything out of my bag, tearing the tent down, and I'm getting stuff put back so that I can finish up this loop. So I'm going to go ahead and make some oatmeal. A friend of mine gave me dehydrated peaches to throw in, so thank you so much, Mary. I am looking forward to trying those and to getting down the hill. So let's do it. The White Rock Mountain Recreation Area Vista was just northwest of where I camped, about a quarter mile. While I didn't feel like going up this trip, it's definitely a worthwhile addition to your hike. Camp is taken down, and I am ready to hit the trail. From here, I've got 7 miles downhill, thankfully, on the east side of the loop. So this should not be quite as tough as yesterday, I hope. Anyway, let's find out. At those in different stages of fruiting. Let's see if we can get an underneath shot. Well, not a great one, but how cool. I don't see these anywhere around home. And I'll just tell you, oh, here's another and another. Anyway, these mushrooms are just everywhere. Not specifically that type, but the yellows and the pinks. And I've had some oranges, lots of whites, even a couple that were a little bit purple. But the colors and the fungi and the flowers are just pretty spectacular today. I am nearing my turnoff to the south on the east side of the Shores Lake Loop. For the last couple of miles, I've been following the Ozark Highlands Trail. And as I mentioned last night, it is really grown over. And on this side, there were lots of blowdowns. So I have to say, I'm not totally disappointed that I will be leaving the Ozark Highlands Trail. Still, I'm sure it's a magnificent trail. It's something like 157 miles. And someday I'll do it, but probably during the winter. Strangely enough, I did not see a sign that indicated a turnoff to the south on the east Shores Lake Loop Trail. But thankfully, I did just kind of automatically veer off that direction. So I am headed down and back to the truck. I will say from my experience of doing this one a couple of weeks ago, this side of the trail has lots of poison ivy. So I should have worn pants. Last time, somehow I didn't have a reaction, even though I was wading like waist deep in it. So this week I went with shorts as well because it's well over 100. I am about 3.7 miles in to the hike this morning, and it has just continued to be a lovely walk in the woods. We have a few little views over here of the ridgeline next door, but of course during leave on, they're kind of tough to see. So, just enjoying the trail. I have made it to the beautiful campsite at mile 3, starting from the east side of the loop. This for me means time for a refill on the water. I actually was here last 2 weeks ago and took a video of this spot, so I'll show you. It's a really pretty spot, I think. Probably the best one that isn't at the top of the mountain. At 3 miles in, we have a nice little campsite here. Actually, decent little place for a tent and some seating area here with the rocks, a fire ring, and we actually have a water source here too. This was listed as a campsite with a water crossing. There is no water crossing at the moment, but we do have right down here a pool that would be perfect for filtering if one decided to stay here. I see a rock that's very familiar. This is mile 2, and this is where I dropped my stove last time. It was sitting right there, but it fell out of my pack as I was, as I was putting my rainfly on. All right, getting nearly back to the intersection with the little balloon string that kind of starts the loop here. So, my thoughts are that this is a lovely trail. I think, like many, it would be better during leaf off because of course, the leaves obscure the views of the surrounding hills and mountains. As far as how it is in the end of August, I think that it's nice. It's a walk in the woods, well marked, and with the exception of the Ozark Highlands Trail, not overgrown too much. Anyway, I will say the story of this trip is it is hot, and I've been a little under the weather, so I've had a little harder time finding the energy to do what I'm normally doing pretty easily. So, going a little slower, listening to my body, and really ready to get back to that truck.
While you're in the Ozarks, check out the Butterfield Trail, Big Bluff, or Hawksbill Crag for more incredible views.